We know that volumes have been tapering off. I'm sure it's getting even worse as we head closer to the holiday season.
Hello, Lerato. Yes, we expect that the equity prices will go down slightly. Generally, around this time, the smaller investors tend to sell off and raise liquidity over the year end. So that's a trend we expect to sustain into the new year.
We heard news on the budget proposal for 2011. How did the Naira fare after this news?
Well, so far, the main thing for the Naira has fared a bit differently in the two markets this week. The interbank market, there's been some pressure because CBN is closing the window for official funds this week. So there's been some pressure in the interbank market. The Naira we've lost about 2 Naira to the dollar. We opened the week at 151.30 and we're at about 153.40 now. At the CBN window, we've had our final auction for the year as well, and there's been a 17 kobo devaluation this week from 149.01 to 149.17.
Kubi, say for instance we do see a massive drop-off in the forex reserves, because that has been one of the key elements this year. What kind of impact is that going to have going into 2011?
It will probably be a major concern for the regulators, and it's one that has to be addressed at a macroeconomic level. If you look in the last 3 years, 2008, 2009 and 2010, we've had a trend of gradually declining reserves for that 3-year period. We've also had increasing demand for foreign exchange in the same period. So if we even just keep the same trajectory, two things will happen. We will have, in absolute terms, increased demand for foreign exchange, and then in relative terms, because the reserves are declining, what we saw as a 23% decline in 2010, if we have just that same amount in 2011, it comes to more like 33%. So it's something that I would believe the regulators would be looking at in terms of, on a macro level, diversifying the economy and making sure that Nigeria is seen as an investment haven, somewhere where people want to bring money in, because that also helps to support the fundamentals for the country.
Looking at the bond market as well, and just touching on the trends that we could see going into 2011, with AMCON wanting to raise 3 trillion Naira next year, and obviously government will be embarking on its own bonds as well, and so too corporates are starting to look at the market as well. Kubi, is that going to be a big negative for the local currency into 2011 as well?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a negative for the local currency, but what we do predict is that interest rates are likely to rise a little more than they have so far. The last quarter of 2010, there's been increased bond activity. Yields on bonds have gone up. Treasury bill yields have also gone up. And like you said, it's an election year. There's going to be increased spending. Government is doing increased spending. We'll see more bond issues, and we do expect that interest rates will creep up. They've already crept up into the double digits. We expect to continue seeing that next year.